All right, boys and girls, thank you for allowing me to be able to read this book to you today. Today I'm going to read a book to you called Henry and the Buccaneer Bunnies, written by Carolyn Creamy, which happens to be our visiting author today. Before I read this book, I'm going to read the foreword, kind of get you guys excited about what we're about to experience. Batten down the hatches. Aboard a ship called the Salty Carrot sails a wild, rowdy band of buccaneer bunnies. Their leader, Barnacle Blackear, is the baddest bunny brute of all time. But his son refuses to perform his proper pirating duties. Henry would rather read books than shout, "Shiver me timbers," or make prisoners walk the plank, even if it means he has to swab the decks as punishment. But when a crashing, blashing, thrashing wildcat of a storm threatens the Salty Carrot and its crew, will Henry and his land-lubbing library save the day? Step aboard, buccaneers and book lovers, for hilarious adventures on the high seas. Cruising the seven seas on a rickety old ship called the Salty Carrot sailed a wild, rowdy band of buccaneer bunnies. They were bad. Bad bunnies, all right. When pirates on the other ships saw their long, floppy ears and their fluffy white tails, they shook with fear. The captain of the Salty Carrot was Barnacle Blackear, the baddest bunny brute of all time. Blackear was proud of his wooden paw, his golden earrings, and his mean reputation. What Blackear was not proud of was his son, Henry. Instead of performing his proper pirating duties, Henry was more interested in reading the books the buccaneer stole from other ships. "Shout, shiver me timbers," Blackear ordered.
"I'd rather finish this chapter book,"
said Henry. "Make this prisoner walk the plank."
"Can't I just read about it?"
asked Henry.
"Find yourself a parrot for your shoulder."
"First, I need to read up on parrot care,"
said Henry. "Buccaneer bunnies don't need books," said Blackear. "Toss them overboard," he yelled to the other bunnies.
"No, wait," cried Henry. "Let me just finish them first."
"Avast!" cried Blackear. "Swab the decks until ye come to ye senses."
And so Henry swabbed the decks day after day while reading some of his favorite books, like Robinson Crusoe and 30 Days to Longer Ears.
"Bet ye can't learn how to do this from a book,"
Jean the Hare said while sharpening his hook. Henry sighed and turned the page. "You'll never find booty like this in a book," Calico Jack Rabbit told him, holding up his stolen loot. Henry shrugged and turned the page. "Can't do this with a book in your paw," Bartholomew Bunny said, while sanding his peg leg. Henry just turned another page. As much as he loved his books, Henry was a lonely buccaneer bunny, if there ever was one. Then one morning, he looked up at the red sky and wriggled his little pink nose. He heard the parrot squawk and saw fish jumping out of the water.
"If my books on meteorology are correct, those signs mean a big storm is heading this way," he thought.
Henry tried telling Jean the Hare about the upcoming storm.
Excuse me, but I believe a storm is coming," said Henry.
But Jean was too busy
polishing his pieces of eight. And go back to your books, Henry.
He tried telling Calico Jack Rabbit. I'm pretty sure a storm is on its way, Henry said.
But Calico Jack was too busy admiring his tattoo of cabbage. Don't bother me now, Henry.
Finally, he cried, "Battle down the hatches! A huge storm is coming!"
What do you know about storms? Blackear demanded. Get back to swabbing the deck before I make shark bait out of those books of yours.
Henry did as he was told, but he kept his little pink eyes on the skies. When he saw the rats abandoning ship, he started packing up his books in the empty treasure chests. The storm started small. A few low grumbles of thunder, a spike of lightning, then suddenly, a crashing, bashing, thrashing wildcat of a hurricane broke loose. It shook the ship. Suffering sea dogs! It mangled the mast. Great blimey bliges! It slashed the sails, damaged the deck, and ripped up the rickety old salty carrot. All that was left floating on the choppy waters were a bunch of soggy bunnies and Henry's treasure chest filled with books. When the storm finally calmed down, Blackear, Henry, and the rest of the Buccaneers paddled to the nearest island.
We're ruined, wailed Blackear. No ship, no pieces of eight, no gems.
He sat in the sand and blubbered like a lily-livered landlubber. But Henry got to work. The first thing he did was build a 2-story hut out of palm fronds and coconuts.
How did ye learn how to do that? Asked Blackear.
I read it in 101 Things to Do with Palm Fronds and Coconuts, Henry replied. Next, he built a fire and cooked up a tasty seaweed stew.
Blimey, said the hungry bunnies. Where did ye learn that?
I found the recipe in Quick and Easy Meals for Maroon Pirates, said Henry. Then he made them all, fetching garments from the bits and pieces he had salvaged from the shipwreck.
We look like gentle bunnies, we do. What swank swashbucklers we are. Arr, and it's all from them land-lubbing books, said Blackear, shaking his head. Henry taught Blackear and the Buccaneer bunnies all kinds of useful things, like how to plant carrots, make the best sandcastles, and build boats out of palm fronds. Soon, they built a new ship. Which they sailed to the library at the nearby Easter Islands every summer. Here, the bunnies spent many happy hours slurping seaweed stew and reading books. Aye, Buccaneer bunnies will always need books, said Blackear. Henry just smiled and turned the page. And that is our story for today. Thank you for allowing me to be your guest reader. And I hope you guys check this book out. It was very fun to read, and enjoy the rest of your read.
across Johnson Day.